Hi, and welcome to In the North Bank. This is a new segment that we're doing, or sorry, I'm doing, which is Hot Topics. And it's a short, it's going to be a 20-minute video, probably played once a week, 7 o'clock on a Wednesday, and just giving a eyesight or the information on what's happened in the week of Arsenal. Now, we've just started it, so the information I'm away to give, or what the hot topics of this week is, has Arteta got all the tools to complete the job he started? And that is something I want to go into, as well as we'll speak about Berta and the amazing job. We'll mostly speak about Berta, in fairness, and the amazing job that he done in the transfer window, and what next for Arsenal Football Club. Please like, subscribe. The guys are putting out amazing content. Des and Richard have got their watch-alongs going. They've got their weekly show when the football's on of Shots Fired, which is absolutely fantastic. It's different clubs. We've got the big Sunday show. There's a lot more content coming out as well. So we'd really appreciate, guys, if you'd give us a bit of support. So without rambling on too long, the first point I want to make is Edu. Now, for me, he was a novice sporting director, and I wouldn't say all the work that he did was bad, but we're waiting to see some of the actual bad bits, and also the difference of either an experienced sporting director or KSE actually trusting Berta more than ever trust Edu, and they're actually putting in, or was this always the final step and we were always going to go big in this transfer window? So to go through the ins and outs, and then we'll get into Arteta and I'll give my take on that. I'm going to use Transfermarkt, probably the best site that's out there, to be honest, and we'll go through the signings that Arsenal have made. So, first of all, Martin Zubimendi, I think that you've seen in the first few games of the season, he strolls the park, he reads the game so well, barely ever makes a tackle. He just seems to be there. And it's absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant. I think it's been an amazing signing. Sorry for these adverts, I can't do anything about them. Then we brought in Eze. Now, Eze for me was a strange one, because the one thing that we know about Arsenal Football Club is that we like three goalkeepers and we like two players in every position. And Arteta and the club do not like, through all or nothing, to overload. Now, I found Eze's position baffling a bit. Not that I don't like the player, I think he's absolutely fantastic. But when you look at the 10, you've got Odegaard, and then you've got Ethan as a backup. Is Eze a 10? That means I've got three players in that position. Or do we play Eze off the left? But again, you've got three. Sorry about these adverts, I really do my head in. You've got three left wingers in. You've got Trossard, you've got Martinelli, and obviously then we've got Eze. And I know that Havertz has went down, and Eze could also play in that position. But for Arsenal to spend, 70, I think it was 68 million, Transfermarkt's putting it down to 69.3 million euro. I think it was a bit more than that. It just seems like a strange move by Arsenal. So, yeah, it's there. So we'll move on. Gyökeres, the goal scorer, well wanted. The goal scorer, well wanted. More hot topics. We're going to have to speak about the way that Arteta plays, how we break it down. Gyökeres to get more space. For me, I think Gyökeres is more a perfect striker in a system that is not against low blocks. Arsenal being possession-based, I think we're going to have to give some of that up to get the best out of Gyökeres. Right now, the team are still finding each other. Gyökeres is a player. He's an absolutely amazing forward. We just need to get the best out of him. And if that means Arteta needs to tweak, he needs to tweak. Nuno Madueke. Now, Madueke, this is controversial, because any signing that's going to come from Chelsea, obviously, is going to be met with disgruntlement. let's face it, if we signed Havertz from any other club, the certain section of our fan base would not be the way they are with Havertz. So the fact it's came from Chelsea, instantly the backs up. And I think it's the same for Nuno as well. I think it's going to be exactly the same thing. So possibly we need to just let the kid play his football. But as a backup to Saka, I actually think it's fantastic. He could also play off the left. Big money signing, a little bit of pressure, but I think this kid's got a lot. And honestly, guys, I do not shop lingerie for women on M&S. I really don't. So this is nothing to do with me. Then Masquera. Now, I had Adam Keys on my dream transfer window at the start of the season, and Adam picked this guy out. I couldn't believe it. I actually there's actually two Masquera central defenders, and I put the wrong one in. And Adam got me to change it just before the show went live. So fair play to Adam. But in the game against Liverpool, Saliba goes down 2 minutes. This kid was absolutely unbelievable. You actually, for me personally, I didn't realise Saliba wasn't on the park. We just controlled, and I thought it was great. Norgard for 11.6 million euros, I think it's a brilliant signing. I really like that. Age-wise, he's a bit older than what I would want. I would have liked him maybe 29, 30 to come in as a kind of backup in the six to Zubimendi. However, the one thing you do know about Norgard, I think that he really does look after himself. And let's not kid ourselves for one remote second. Thomas Partey did not until the final year of his contract. He did not look after himself up until that final year. And Norgard just seems a lot more professional. Then we go to Kepa. Kepa had a brilliant season last season at Bournemouth. I thought, again, brilliant number 2. I'm more than happy with that. Hincapi, I'm butchering that. Loan, believe it's with an obligation. We'll see what he's like. And then we obviously have Max Downing getting promoted. He's just been world class since he's came in. He's been absolutely fantastic for a kid at 15. I could probably do a 20-minute show just on Max. Then, obviously, we've got all the loanees coming back. Tavares, Vieira, Nelson, Wakonga, Marquinhos, and these freaking ads, and Carol Hine. So if I just pop down, so that was the ends. And if you looked at the players coming in, and Kevy coming in for Kevior. Kevior obviously wants first team football, and he deserves first team football. Gabriel, one of my favourite players, if not the favourite player at Arsenal, went down, and I think Kevior came in was absolutely outstanding. So I understand Kevior's thinking of wanting to get away and just play football. I really do. He's a Poland international, brilliant player. For me personally, I would have loved to keep him. I really would have loved to keep him. The other thing that I really would have loved was, again, just on the players coming in, I probably would have took a Rodrigo, because I don't know if Arteta will change his system. And Rodrigo, instead of an Eze for the left wing and maybe selling a Trossard or a Martinelli, would break down low blocks and give Arsenal more hope. Honestly, I need to get a better firewall because this is ridiculous. But yeah, on the buy-in front, you would have to give it a 10. Arsenal, I think it gives you a fee of what Arsenal spent. So the sum was 293.5 million euros. They reckon that the average age goes up to 24.5 and the total market value is 410. That is amazing, absolutely amazing. And I've never known Arsenal to have a transfer window like it. Edu, for me, couldn't produce that. I can't remember the last sporting director that could produce that. Maybe we'd have to go back to David Dean. Because let's face it, after David Dean, we went through a period of just not spending any money because we're trying to pay off the stadium, etc. So maybe this is the first sporting director since David Dean came in, where either our owners just said it was phase six, let's spend, let's go big and let's win. Or maybe there is the option there that actually we've just got a really good sporting director in now, and let's spend and just do what we need to do. And so, a 10 out of 10 for the buy-in front. I don't think any Arsenal fan could complain. If they did complain, I just think that you're either looking for traction or you're just not with this club at all. Then we'll look at the howlers, and I'm going to break these down. Some of these names on this next part are absolutely disgusting. Like, they're so bad business and show exactly where we are on a selling front as a football club. And that has to massively, massively change. Tavares, €5 million. I mean, that in itself is disgusting. I think, what did we pay? Something along the lines. Was it Tavares up there? I think we got for €15 million or 17 million. Shocking signing. Marquinhos, that definitely is an Edu signing. I'm sure at the time it was €7 million. We're budged to get 3 million back. Kivior's a good one. Yeah, I've given his flowers. It's an initial 2 million loan fee, and I think there's a 25 million obligation. He's outstanding, and again, I didn't want to lose him. Wakonga, 300. I don't know if that is meant to be a loan fee or what actually Arsenal got back in for him. Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And I'm sure Wakonga was the one that cost over 20 million euros, maybe up to 25 million. Terrible, terrible signing for Arsenal. Thomas Partey. Arsenal would have won the league with this guy. Definitely 22-23. We would have. However, Thomas decided to be unprofessional, unfit, and barely played even a quarter of the season. Again, you look at Thomas's career at Arsenal, it was only last season and the first season that he was actually fit. I'm actually glad that Thomas has gone. I mean, you look at the scandal around his name as well. It just sums up what Thomas has got. And if you don't like my opinion, drop your comments in. I don't care. Just drop them in. I'll come back respectfully and reply to them. Thomas is so unprofessional, and it's such a shame because he was an absolutely on his game. He could have been Arsenal's best player, and that is so disappointing. Then we come to my man and Cronky Junior's man, Kieran Tierney. But he was bought for 25 million, I believe, 20 to 25 million. Injury hit again, breaks down a lot. Disappointed that he's left Arsenal Football Club. Because I did absolutely love the kid. When this kid was fit, he was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Scottish. I'm talking like he led by example. I think he is more professional than Thomas. I just think that he had these injury setbacks at Celtic, and he certainly had them at Arsenal. So it was a free transfer that had to happen. He's went back to his home club, and Kieran, I love you. Wish you all the best, but I don't like Celtic, so it's kind of a difficult one. But please do it for Scotland. Jorginho, brilliant signing. Arsenal signed him for £12 million, came in for Mark, the name's just dropped on my head. For 12 million, I'll come back to me. It will come back in for me. Sorry, his name's just dropped. But he came in as that everyone else thought it was for to replace Caicedo. Now Chelsea signing that fell down. I'm glad he's got his free transfer. I'm glad he's going to make money. I think he was absolutely phenomenal at Arsenal Football Club. Then we come to Fabio Vieira. Absolutely horrendous signing that should never have happened. Broke through. Like, this deal was done in days. It was like Porto must have been rubbing their hands because this guy is not it. And I'm afraid I do not care. Honestly, I hope this loan is a loan with an obligation, and he's just not back at Arsenal Football Club. I'm not disrespecting the guy. He's just nowhere near the standard, and I certainly do not get where Edu pulled this one out of. It was horrendous. Then we come to Zinchenko. Zinchenko, good player. Again, another injury-prone player. Final year of his contract. Arsenal have got a loan fee for him for us. We'll get nothing else. This has to change. But losing money. Zinchenko, came in 22, I think it was 20, was it 22, 23? I hope I'm getting my years right. Came into the side, elevated it so high that we actually challenged for the league that year. Now can't get into the side, not due to injury. It's just that Arsenal have got that good in defence. They've got one of the best defences, if not the best defence in the whole of Europe. That Zinchenko is just no longer required. Wish him all the best for the future. Never let Arsenal down. But yeah, he is what he is. Reece Nelson. I hope that he's still got a year left. Another loan fee. We need to be getting some money for these players. Reece, again, another injury-stricken player. Absolutely gutted that that's the case. Then come to Karl Hein. I think he's a good goalkeeper, to be fair, a decent goalkeeper. Do I think he's going to make it in the Premier League? The judgment's out on it. If that's the case, hopefully this loan move actually works out and we get some money. This one actually breaks my heart, Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu is one of the best defenders, all-round defenders that was in the Premier League, in my opinion. Left back, right back, you could play like left centre-back, even right centre-back, right across the back line. Absolutely outstanding. As you can see, he's still without a club. Arsenal have terminated his contract, and I think Arsenal have done this in the most respectful way to Tomiyasu. And what that is Tommy has actually got a muscle disease, I believe. I can't remember the name of it, but basically what it means is the muscles are getting eaten away at, and unfortunately, it is obviously still suffering, and we don't know if he'll be able to play football again. And I'm like, my heart goes out to Tom, and I wish him every bit of recovery and the best that he could possibly happen for him. It really does break my heart. Such a gentleman at the club, true professional, and yeah, just so much respect. Then it come to two of the worst loan signings in history. Raheem Sterling. Like, seriously, Edu, you obviously done that. You turned up at the club to welcome him in the club that evening. I'll never forget the images. And I still remember that evening very well. I was on a podcast with Paul and Aisha, and I could not stop ranting. Everything was right, what I was saying. Absolutely garbage signing. Absolutely garbage. What Arsenal Football Club are thinking about bringing this guy in is absolutely beyond me. Neto, please, honestly, not much better. Not much better. So if you have a look at the players and the loans, the sum that we brought in, including some of the transfer fees, is just over 10 million euros. The total market value of the departures could be up to 186. Obviously, that figure is going to go up. Kivier's fee will go in there. There's selling clauses in some of these or obligations in there. So that'll fee come up. However, we are massively underachieving in this department. Massively. And it's time that the club get better. It's just not sustainable to be just paying off players and not bringing in any kind of fees for them. So on that, the last bit of business, and I think again I have to slightly touch on Berta. The last bit of business that I actually felt was I heard rumours was almost going to get done, and that was selling Jesus, who's injured. And I would honestly say this, and no pun intended, but Berta, you would have been walking on water if you had been able to achieve that. So fair play. Overall, I'm giving Berta a massive 10 out of 10 this window. He moved so quickly. Remember, he wasn't even in for a period of time where he could adjust and see what the club wanted to do and what he wanted to do. He acted fantastically during this window. So I don't even think there is an Arsenal fan out there that can criticise Berta in any kind of way regarding the work that he's done. So just to quickly, I'm going to quickly round up because I want to touch on Arteta. And touching on Arteta, is it now time that Arteta can we say Arteta has had the tools? He has now got the tools where we've seen Odegaard go out, we've seen Saka go out, we've seen Saliba go out, and obviously Kai Havertz go out. And we barely missed it because we've had adequate replacements to come in. Can we now say now is the time to deliver, Arteta? You have to start giving us one of the major trophies, if that's a Premier League or a Champions League. Are you guys happy with a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup? I'm not. I want one of the big ones. And I think now is the time. The difficult question you've got is every year there's excuses made around Arteta. And now the excuses that would be made would be that Liverpool have just had the transfer window that they've had. So therefore they've got to be favourites and Arteta shouldn't be favourites. I'm sorry, but there has to become a time where we have to go over the line. And if we're in the final year of our project, it's now. And we can't make excuses to what other clubs have done. I will raise this. I've just slightly went over 20 minutes, guys, so I'm going to end this. I will raise more on the Arteta debate. Coming up, I'm going to have a Gunner to Gunner, so it's just going to be me, someone else, another Arsenal fan talking. Some of the guys from the podcast, some amazing guys out with the podcast that I'm trying to get on. And these conversations will come up. So again, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. The guys are putting out amazing content. We're going to keep pumping this out for you guys and keep up with all the hot talking points. Leave your comments. I will come back to every single one of you, I promise, regardless if they're negative or positive. Big up. I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for watching.